Mr. Akabweze also discussed recurrent expenditure projections, including personnel, overheads, debt servicing, and other recurrent spending. He also spoke about the tangible deliverables in terms of goods, infrastructure, and services expected from the 2014 budget.
Moving on to looking at our recurrent expenditures, beginning with the personnel costs. The personnel costs, contrary to what you may have read from some uninformed analysts, they claim that our personnel cost budget declined. Personnel cost budget for 2014 is 4 billion naira higher than the revised personnel cost budget for 2013. Okay. Overhead costs is an increase from 130 to 146 billion naira. This is just an increase of barely over 10%, in addition to a 2 billion naira increase in subventions to our parastatals and tertiary institutions. That's what explains the growth in our overhead. Again, included in our overhead costs is the cost of debt service, the interest that we will pay on our various loans, as against a budget of 18.5 billion naira for debt service in 2013. We have a budget for 23.4 billion naira in 2014. Okay, 4.3 billion naira of the capital receipts will come from grants, projected grants. Other capital receipts, that's one I've referred to earlier on, from generated by our agencies. These again generated and retained by those agencies to provide the capital development in those estates. The Office of Public-Private Partnership, this represents net receipts from the Lekki Toll Bridge, which is retained to being reinvested in that road development in that corridor. Total projected capital expenditure for this year, 255 billion naira. That is 37 billion naira less than what we projected for 2013. Our financing activities for the year, stated earlier, Treasury has no deficit to finance this year. Nevertheless, that does not mean that they will not be undertaking some financing activities. As a matter of fact, in less than 2 weeks, the Honorable Commissioner for Finance will be redeeming the first tranche of our bond issuance. The 50 billion naira will be paid back. So, in terms of the functional allocation of this year's budget, projects belong our first sector, which is where the bulk of our capital expenditure takes place, accounts for 32.4% of our budget allocation. The total of 158.6 billion allocated to that sector, 137.5 is to capital expenditure and only 21 to recurrent. The next major sector, general public service, expectedly, that is heavier on the recurrent side. And then you see housing, which will take 10.3%. The bulk of that is on capital. But then when you look at education, another major sector, 15.8 billion naira, the bulk of it will be recurrent. Let me stress that for each of these agencies, they further have a detailed breakdown, line item by item, for their recurrent budget and for their capital expenditure budget, and these will be resident on our website, so you can drill down further when I looked at the review of the 2013 budget performance, I highlighted some of the tangible goods and services that the 2013 budget delivered, either the things that budget originated in 2013 and finished in 2013, or things that were finished in 2013. Similarly, for 2014, we have here a list of the tangible goods and services that this budget, the performance, the execution of this budget will deliver to the citizens. So it's not just about how much money that we're going to be spending. We will also, in 2014, continue the renovation and rehabilitation of courtrooms and judges' chambers. More of these courtrooms will be delivered this year. The process of computerizing and automating the judicial procedures in the state will also continue. This state has remained in the forefront of judicial reform. So we will drive actively the implementation of this budget with strong focus on revenue generation, because that's our singular most important limiting factor. We will continue to, of course, manage our expenditures and monitor project delivery.
Mr. Akabweze and the Special Advisor on Taxation and Revenue, Bola Shodipo, took a few questions from representatives of the media.
My name is Omar Gabriel from Vanguard Newspaper. It is true, last year, the Commissioner for Justice said that the Lagos State government was going to pursue, overtake, apprehend, and prosecute tax defaulters. What have you done about that? And why is it that they are running faster than the state government and what have you? Secondly, looking at the budget you presented, the details of the budget you presented, close to 30% of this budget is overhead costs. Don't you think that's rather on the high side? Thank you.
We promised we were going to run after, pursue, overtake, and what did you say? And do it. That's what exactly we are doing. Maybe you give us time again when we come back for our press conference to give you an update of how much we have done. That we have a gap in revenue does not mean that we didn't do anything as regards prosecuting tax defaulters. Indeed, if we have not done that, the gap will have been so enormous that we will have been forced into the loan market much more than we have. Now, we've taken a lot of people to court. Some people were written and invited by the Special Task Force and on their own made out-of-court settlements, and the monies are in. Some people that are in court, very few of them who opted to be in court have one way or the other along the line dropped out of court to pay. But the few ones that are in court, what we said to ourselves is that we're going to, as a due process government, we're going to be patient enough till we get judgment, and then we will make a sample of them to the society. Now, preempting the judgment that will come and making noise over it will be prejudicial to the situation. So, just be patient. It's a government that is predicated on methods and organizations. We follow due process. But the barometer to measure how effective is our policy or strategy is to see how much more have we gained in terms of revenue over and above the previous year figures. And he has alluded to that earlier on. Over and above in nominal terms, we have gained in nothing less than 30-40 billion beyond that.
First of all, if you take the 71 billion naira in total, that's less than 15%. That's actually or whatever overheads of running government. The other elements of the overhead, we talk about dedicated expenditure, and I said those are the expenditures of principally the tertiary institutions and the health institutions, the cost of running them, they are funding their operations.
The budget briefing by the Honorable Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Mr. Ben Akabweze, provided very clear insights into the budgeting philosophies and strategies of the Lagos State government. It also shed light on the benefits citizens of Lagos State are deriving from budgeted spending.